If you've ever finished a conversation and thought, "Did I just sound stupid?" Here's an uncomfortable fact. That thought itself might be a sign you're smarter than most people in the room. Stick around, because sign number 1 is going to make a lot of you very uncomfortable. Hey, welcome back to Mind Cipher. There's a strange thing psychologists have noticed for decades. The people who worry most about being intelligent tend to actually be the most intelligent ones. And the people who never doubt themselves for a second? Research keeps linking that to the opposite. Today, we're breaking down 6 real research-backed signs that you might be operating on a higher cognitive level than you give yourself credit for. Some of these will surprise you. Some of these you're going to recognize immediately. Let's get into it. Sign 1. You constantly question your own intelligence. In 1999, psychologists David Dunning and Justin Kruger ran a study that changed how we think about confidence and competence. What they found was almost backwards from what you'd expect. People with lower ability and a skill consistently overestimated how good they were at it. They didn't know enough to know what they didn't know. But here's the flip side that gets talked about far less. The highest performers in their study actually underestimated themselves. Why? Because when you understand a subject deeply, you also understand how vast and complicated it really is. You see the exceptions, the edge cases, the things you still don't know. Confidence without that awareness is often a sign of a shallow understanding, not a sign of intelligence. So if you've ever sat in a meeting terrified that you're the least informed person there, while everyone else seems so sure of themselves, statistically, you might be the one who actually understands the material. Sign 2. You get bored faster than everyone around you. Chronic boredom, especially in understimulating environments like routine meetings or repetitive tasks, has been linked in cognitive research to higher processing speed. Basically, if your brain finishes processing information faster than the pace it's being delivered, you get restless. It's not that you can't focus. It's that your brain is waiting for the rest of the room to catch up. This is part of why so many highly capable people struggled with traditional school. It wasn't that the material was hard. It was that the pace was too slow for how quickly they were already moving through it. Now, sign 3 is the one almost nobody admits to out loud. Because on the surface, it looks a little embarrassing. But stay with me, because the science behind it flips that completely. Sign 3. You talk to yourself, out loud or in your head. Constantly, researchers studying self-directed speech have found that narrating your own thinking, walking yourself through a problem step by step, out loud or silently, is linked to stronger executive function and better working memory. It's called private speech, and it's not a quirk. It's a tool your brain is using to organize complex thoughts in real time. Children do it naturally while learning to solve problems. And studies show that adults who still do it tend to perform better on tasks requiring planning and self-regulation. So if you've ever caught yourself muttering through a decision or narrating your own actions while cooking or driving, that's not a strange habit. That's your brain actively managing itself. Sign 4. You're a night owl, and it's not really a choice. Multiple studies on chronotypes, including large-scale research out of the UK, have found a correlation between later sleep-wake cycles and higher scores on certain reasoning and processing tasks. One theory is evolutionary. Throughout human history, staying alert after dark required a level of vigilance and adaptability that daytime routine didn't. That doesn't mean every night owl is a genius or every early riser isn't. It's a correlation, not a rule. But it does explain why so many people who feel most mentally sharp late at night have spent years being told they just need better discipline, when their brain may simply be wired to peak later. Here's where it gets personal. Sign 5 isn't about how you think. It's about how much you feel. And that connection is stronger than most people realize. Sign 5. You pick up on emotions before people say a word. There's a growing body of research connecting certain forms of empathy, specifically the ability to read subtle emotional cues, tone shifts, and body language, with stronger performance in social cognition, which is itself a measurable component of overall intelligence. This is sometimes called emotional intelligence, and while it's a separate concept from raw IQ, the two are far more connected than pop psychology usually admits. If you're the person in the group who notices someone's gone quiet or senses tension in a room before anyone says anything, your brain is running a constant high-speed pattern analysis in the background. That's processing power, even if it doesn't look like solving equations. Sign 6. You procrastinate on easy tasks but lock in completely on hard ones. This one confuses people, including the person experiencing it. Research on executive function has found that some of the same cognitive traits linked to higher intelligence, like strong working memory and the ability to juggle multiple ideas at once, can actually make simple, repetitive tasks feel disproportionately unbearable. Your brain is built for complexity, so when a task doesn't demand much of it, there's nothing to hold your attention. But give that same brain a genuinely hard problem, and something shifts. Suddenly, you're locked in for hours, losing track of time completely. That swing between avoiding easy things and disappearing into hard ones isn't laziness. It's a mismatch between how much stimulation a task offers and how much your brain actually needs. So here's the real question none of this answers on its own. None of these 6 signs alone prove anything. But when 2, 3, or 4 of them start stacking up in the same person, that pattern is where it stops being a coincidence. If you saw yourself in 3 or more of these, that doesn't mean you need a test to prove it, and it definitely doesn't mean the people around you who don't share these traits are somehow behind you. Intelligence shows up in more forms than any single number can capture. What matters more than where you land on a scale is what you actually do with the way your mind works. Understanding your own patterns, that's the real advantage. If this made you rethink a few things about yourself, hit subscribe, because we break down the psychology behind who you really are every single week. And let me know in the comments, which one of these 6 hit closest to home? I read every single one.